Hey guys, another Chapter 5 video coming at you here. 5.5 is our topic, and we were working on how can I analyze a pattern. So we're really getting into our algebra skills here because algebra is the study of patterns. That's really what it's all about. And we want to look at a pattern a lot of different ways because people see things a lot of different ways. We don't all see the same thing when we look at a pattern. That's what's kind of cool about it actually. So there's lots of ways we can analyze the pattern. We can turn it into a table. We can graph it. We've definitely worked on tables and graphs a lot in the last couple of videos. But we also can do some other things. We're going to make a little chart here. We can learn how to write a rule for a pattern. You can actually come up with a rule, and you can also draw it out. You can draw the pattern. And so we kind of have what we call the 4 representations. These are 4 different ways that we can show a pattern. We can do it with a table, with a graph, with a rule, or by drawing the pattern itself. And we're going to be practicing this a lot because we want to get comfortable with all these different ways. So let's try a problem. We're going to do an example. And we're going to start with the pattern first. So we're actually going to get the picture. Here is our beautiful pattern. Hit the pause button and copy it down in your notes, please. So our pattern has 4 figures, figure 0, figure 1, figure 2, and figure 3. If you study the pattern closely, you'll notice it's growing. Maybe you've even figured out how many squares it's growing by. Hopefully you have. And each figure has its label for a very important reason, because we're going to take this pattern and we're going to turn it into a table. So in our table, which is going to look like this, we're going to measure the 2 different things that we see. We see the figure number and we see the number of tiles. Now tiles is what I'm calling those little squares, the little boxes. Some people say that they're boxes, some people call them squares. I tend to call them tiles. They look like if you were in your kitchen or bathroom, like kitchen tiles or floor tiles or something. And what we're going to do is we're going to fill out our table for the figures that we see. So we have figure 0, figure 1, figure 2, and figure 3 going in our table. Now let's do the number of tiles. Go back to figure 0. There is 1 square there, 1 box, 1 tile. Look at figure number 1. Yeah, there's our 1 tile. Go to the next figure. There are 3 tiles in figure number 1. So we're going to write down 3. How many tiles are in figure 2? Well, there's 5 of them. I see 5 tiles. And then the last figure has 7 tiles. I bet you could guess what the next figure would be. If I said, hey, can you draw figure 4 for me, please? I bet you could do it. How many tiles would be in figure 4? Yeah, 9. It just keeps on growing. It'd be 9 tiles. Okay, so we got our table. We're ready for the graph. So we grab a ruler and we set up our XY axis. We don't have any negative numbers, so we're going to go first quadrant here. One nice graph. We're going to label our scale. We got the figure number and we've got the number of tiles. We're going to take the labels from the table and put it on the X and the Y axis. And then we're going to put the scale numbers. So the scale is going to be real easy. We're going to go out to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And same thing going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be sure when you're doing this in your notebook that you're using that ruler, you're using your graph paper, and everything is just nice and neat. Because if it's messy and sloppy, you're going to have mistakes later on. And now we get to graph our points from our table. So the scale numbers are on there. Everything's looking pretty good. We're going to put the first point on there, which is at 0 and 1. So we go to 0, we go up to 1, and we've got our dot. Then we're going to graph 1, 3. So we're going to go to 1, up to 3, place our point. Then we're going to graph 2, 5. So we go to 2, up to 5, place our point. And then we're going to graph the last one, which is at 3, 7. So we go to 3, up to 7, and we've got our last point. Now look at that. We have a nice looking graph, and what do all those points do? They make a straight line. Grab your ruler and connect them. They go on a very straight line. All right. One more thing I want to do with my table is I want to show the pattern of the growth. What are we going up by? We're going up by +2. Each time we're adding 2 tiles, adding 2 tiles. You could see that in the pattern when we looked at the picture. So how does that connect to the graph? Well, I'm drawing a growth triangle. I'm picking 2 points and drawing that rise and run growth triangle. Look, it rises 2 and it runs 1. So we got a 2 over 1. So our slope of our line, our steepness, our rise over run, would be 2 over 1. But 2 divided by 1 is 2. That's that growth number. Growth and slope are the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to back out of this a little bit and look at the whole picture. Look how beautiful this work is. I hope your work looks awesome in your notebook. We've got the pattern. We've got the table. We've got the nice looking graph with the slope and the growth triangle labeled. We put everything on the graph to label it so far. Only thing missing now is figuring out how to write a rule for this pattern, and that's the next thing we're going to learn how to do in future videos and in class. So that's going to be an exciting step for us to write the rule for the pattern, and I'm looking forward to doing that with you guys. All right, so I will see you in class, and thanks for watching, guys. Bye.